Hey, this is Laurel. This is part one of a three-part series with myself and Dr. John DeMartini. We're going to talk about aligning your values and how that alignment will create a financial foundation for you and a legacy. Specifically, in this section, we are going to talk about the first of three series. We're going to talk about the power of your values. We're going to talk about value determination, which is really interesting. I actually went to John's site after I did the interview, and it's really, really thought-provoking. Like, it's not something he says, and he'll tell you can go through it in about 13 minutes. I'd say spend a little more time and really be mindful about the diversity in the areas of your life and how you handle it to really do that exercise properly, and you'll be shocked at the result. Last, we're going to talk about the hierarchy of your values and how that determines your behavior, determines your result, and determines the outcome of your life. So we're going to go listen in to the first part of three parts of Dr. John DeMartini and myself. Hey, this is Laurel, and welcome back to Laurel's Real Money Talks, a podcast about money. How do you make it? How do you keep it? How do you invest it? What does it take? What's the blueprint to become a millionaire? And who are the teammates that have to get integrated around you? Because it cannot be a solo job. And so many of you take this road solo and you wonder why it's not working. So inside of my podcast, as many of you know, I bring on guests in a variety of topics to help continue your movement in your journey to your wealth building. Today, I've Dr. John DeMartini. He reached out to me a while back on text, and we haven't talked in so long. We traveled all over together back in the day when that was a thing, seeming to becoming a thing again. Maybe we'll take a trip back to Australia, John. That'd be kind of fun. And hop around to all those cities. Speak, fly, speak, fly, speak, fly. Those were the fun days of tours. Dr. DeMartini is, I'm going to say, a dear friend, and he has helped my son and our family tremendously. His wisdom is beyond anyone I've ever known. He takes you through building an entire life plan, every area. Probably, I'm going to say, one of the most thorough guru instructors that I've ever even had the pleasure of being with. So, John, I'm going to let you go through your background a little more thoroughly. And welcome to my podcast. It's so great to see you. We just topped our 400th podcast. We had Glenn Morshower and Ken Wells on. So we've been doing this for just a minute.
Yeah, you're on fire with it. That's making a difference in a lot of people's lives. Well, myself, I've been an educator. I'm 52 years plus now. Been doing a long time, since I was 18. I'm 70 now, going on 71. And just anything to do with mastering life, anything to do with maximizing awareness and potential in 7 areas of life. So I help people create original ideas that serve human beings. I help them build their business. I help them build their wealth. I help them build their relationships so they don't throw away half their wealth. I help them in their social connections so they can build a social network, which is essential for doing and leaving a legacy. I talk about how to help them build their health and well-being, because I've got a background in doctoring, and also how do they live an inspired life. That's anything to do with those I've been working on for the last 52 years. And finance and wealth building is a very significant one. And putting, like you say, the team together is an absolutely essential component of mastering life.
I think it's so interesting. Let's talk about team for just a little while, and then I want to go straight into values. And we talked a little before the show, how many people say they want to be wealthy? Do they really want that? So we'll come to that next, but talk about the team. I think it's fascinating, without any other education, how many people live their business life, being an entrepreneur, no training, and then their wealth building life all by themselves. Maybe they have a banker, maybe a financial planner, but they don't seriously say, they're not the expert in these categories of tax and estate planning and legacy building. So it's interesting how many people go solo. Speak to that a little bit, and just to those people who are solo out there, scared of getting a team.
When you start out in any endeavor, many times you're a generalist, but as you mature and as you build momentum and you end up doing something extraordinary, you end up having delegations to specialists to assist you, because your knowledge, if you don't, you won't be able to know all the things about what's necessary. So putting together a team, I always say that if you don't fill your day with high priority actions that inspire you, your day fills up with low priority distractions that don't. And you can't possibly do it all, because there's no way you can keep the priority by doing it all. You build momentum by accumulating quality people that can help you along the journey in the areas that is not your expertise. So you can stay building momentum in what is inspiring to you. I'm a teacher, I'm an educator.
Yeah.
That's what I do. But I do have a team, estate planning and tax authorities and, have different people that take care of the things because I accumulated wealth. I needed those areas of expertise. Even though I could probably devour much of it and read it, learn it, I'd rather delegate it and stick to what I'm most inspiring to do.
Yeah. And I think all of you that are listening comes on the show has the same philosophy of strengthen your strengths, hire your weaknesses, don't do the things you're not good at, and do the things you really love to do. So, John, you've studied deeply values. And, I do a values activity for my clients. I do it with my children. I wasn't introduced to values and even what they were until my young 20s when I was on this personal development journey. And it was like such a profound activity to go through and identify, your true top values that you live your life by. And I want you to start with the definition. I always start with the definition too, because I think people think that between your personality, like your characteristics, and then your values. To me, your values are such a core anchor of what you're composed of. And I don't think people know about it and take it to the degree that you've ever taken it. So let's go there for a while.
Well, in 1978, I asked a question to myself. Why do some people walk their talk and some people limp their life? Why do some people do what they say and some people don't? I wanted to know because that would give me an advantage and it was also going to help me with my clientele. So I found out that each individual lives by a unique set of priorities or values that they run their life by. And these values determine how they perceive, decide, and act, therefore their behavior ultimately. And when it comes to money, the hierarchy of their values is dictating their financial destiny. Tell me what's important, I'll tell you where the money's going to go. If they have a very high value on children, their money is going to go to their children. Take care of their children's education, health, clothes, health care, If they have a high value on travel, they're going to go to travel. If they don't have a value on financial asset accumulation and wealth building, financial wealth building, it's going to go everywhere else. And money circulates through the economy from those who value it least to those who value it most. And those that value it most bring order to it. And those who value it least bring chaos to it. So determining what a person's values, in my opinion, one of the key elements to start the journey of wealth building, because that tells you where you're going to put your money. I was in South Africa. I think we saw each other in South Africa at one point.
Yeah, we did several times.
Success summits or something, I think.
Yeah, we were in Johannesburg together.
Yeah, and I stood up. I think I was the first speaker in 2012 there, and I got up, and there were about 5,000 people there, and I said, "How many of you want to be financially independent?" And every hand went up. Some people put two hands, some people put their leg in the air. I said, "Fantastic!" And then I said, "It's roaring, it's loud, right?" I said, "Now, how many of you are financially independent, where your financial assets are growing fast than you are working, and you work because you love to, not because you have to?" All the hands went down except 7. Now, this is entrepreneurs. You would expect a higher percentage, at least 1% or something. 7 people out of 5,000 people. And I said, "Wow, that's interesting. You all say you want to be wealthy, financially independent, but only 7 in this room claim to have it achieved." I said, "Why is it you're saying one thing and your life is demonstrating another? Your actions are determining things. And if your actions aren't putting you in growing finances, and you really don't value it, you value on immediate gratifying consumables that depreciate in value." So I said, "I'd like to prove to you about how values play in this role. I'd like you to take out a piece of paper, and I'm going to have you in 60 seconds write down 10 things you would do if you received $10 million. I gave you a pallet of $10 million. I want to know what you would do with that. And you got 60 seconds to write down the 10 things you would do with that money. On your mark, get set, go. Go." And they're writing as fast as they can the 10 things they would do with the 10 million. And 10 million in 2012 compared to Rand in South Africa was enough to be pretty good. I then stopped him at 60 seconds. I said, "Now turn your little piece of paper to the person on the left and calculate how many assets they now have remaining out of what they had in 10 million.
Love it.
And 20 to 80% was the range of how much they spent on depreciating consumables. They bought that car, they bought that house, they bought that boat, they bought this trip, they bought this, that, their nice clothes. They had a higher value on buying depreciables and consumables that made their lifestyle good, which would actually trap them and move them farther away from financial independence than actually buying assets. And the few that actually had the 20%, I then narrowed down in the 20%, and that's where those 7 people were. They bought more assets. They leveraged their assets because people that really value wealth building buy things that go up in value, and people that don't buy things that go down in value. It's really simple. And the hierarchy of your values is dictating what you're going to spend your money on. That's why those are crucial to start with, because the hierarchy of your values is going to dictate your financial destiny. Tell me what your values are, tell you where your money's going.
So how do people identify? So say you come up with their top 5 and they say they still want wealth building. I mean, what do they need to shift, and maybe give them some skills or tools to shift to get in that alignment to what they say they want? Because most people, like you say,
what they say means nothing.
I hear more excuses and more everything.
I'm not interested in what they say. First, I'm interested in what their values are. Not what they wish they would be. What are they? So they can get grounded and look at why their life is the way it is. Because otherwise they're going to think, well, I want this, but it's not happening. There's something wrong with me. But in fact, it's not necessarily wrong with them. They're just living according to what their values are, and they think that they want wealth building, but the fact is their life is demonstrating they want consumables and they want things for their kids and they want to take a trip. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you say you want something, but your values aren't congruent with it, then you end up having this internal conflict. So first, identify what it is and where does wealth building show up? Now, sometimes I need to go through a value determination to even see if it's on there. I'm going to say that 80% of the world's population, I've done value determinations on millions of people, 80% of it doesn't even show up in the top 5. It doesn't even show up on there. There's other things more important. That's why they're less than 1% become financially independent. But I've also done this same questionnaire on a lot of billionaires and centimillionaires, et cetera. It's always in the top 4. So there's no doubt that people that have a value on wealth building then bring order and organization and strategies and executive functions to lead towards that outcome. And they put together their team because it's important. But people who don't, they don't get around to it. They keep having excuses, which are all the distractions, which are more valuable to them that they put their money into. So first, identify that. Now, if you want to raise wealth building up on your values, that can be done. I can take any human being who may have not ever had any capacity to accumulate any money. I can show them how to do it by identifying the action steps that have been proven to build wealth, and take those actions and then ask the question, how is doing these actions going to help you fulfill your current highest values? And what are the benefits of doing the actions? Because some people write down the benefits of having wealth, but that's not going to get you wealth. It's the benefits of doing the proven actions that lead to wealth building, which is serving greater numbers of people, managing it effectively, building it exactly, just like your book shows. And then making sure that you're saving and investing money, you're putting money away towards asset accumulation. If you're not doing that, it's not going to happen. It's just fantasy and pipe dream. So making sure that you take the proven action steps and stack up the advantages and benefits, because every decision you make between your amygdala and executive function is determined by the amount of advantages over disadvantages at any moment in time with your perception. So if you believe that the immediate gratification of buying that new car or whatever, the suit or whatever, is more valuable than putting money and deferring gratification and building wealth, then you're going to keep buying the car, or buying those things, which will put a higher lifestyle and move you farther away from financial independence. Unless you have more advantages on doing the actions that are proven to build wealth than the actions that are proven to get you in debt, you're going to continue to get yourself into the lifestyle and in debt instead of going into asset accumulation.
So I hope you enjoyed that. We're going to head over to part 2 of our 3-part series. But before we do that, I want you to subscribe to this channel. Click that notification button. I need you here 5 days a week. I'm here. I commit every month to doing 20 to 30 new videos just for you. If there's a topic or a person you want me to interview that I can go get them, put it in the comment section, because I want to know who you want me to interview. I want to know what you want to know more about as far as topics. And always search my playlist. I have tons and tons, years. We're going on our 4th year of doing this YouTube channel. There's so much content. You could be here for days. So with that, if you ever have any questions, go to askloral.com, ASKLORAL, ask a question, make a request. We'll be back
with Series 2 of our 3 parts.